This is Gerald van Waas and the educational channel that is in support of the theory of which is called sound in form. There is the whole theory is developed in the development of the word, and there are some applications in the scripts and in other fields of investigation in the application of the word. What I will show you in these videos is especially how letters guide you and can guide you to show you which forms are oriented upon. They direct you into certain forms as well, to formation processes, which you can see also in letters with the letter H, and I will give you an example in this video. The first, I will give you some examples: hill, hat, hole, hair, horse and hip. The H is like a complete spatial orientation. That's complete space or surrounding that we have as orientation, and there we will find all the other letters that are involved in it, and we will show which space will be the active space, where the activity takes place that we are directing upon. The E is of course the insertion, and the L is of course making it more physical, making it more apparent, giving it more form. So let's form in that way this combination H, I, L and again L. Then we will get to hill. The hill, as you can recognize it, it is then finding what is coming in the forming of something that becomes more physical, more and more and more, and there the space that is filled in that area. That is actually more or less what the word is saying. You can easily build it up by just placing the letters in the right order, in the right context. I give you a few more examples with H, like the hat. We will start, and here I will go from letter to letter again and find out where we have to go to. In hat we have to end in T, in a placement, in a distinctive placement. So we will determine the place of T, but we start from the large area, the large spatial area, in which the A is not as large as the full space. It's inside that spatial area, so it is limited in space as the A. And from the A, which is always in the middle, in the center, we will find the letter T, which is always in 2/3 of as a reference point, in the 2/3 vertical point from there, and this in a reference point of a full placement in space. So we will start from that point of orientation. That's our placement. There we start from. Then we make the selection. The selection is the physical part. The A, the physical part, is determined as well. The physical plane that we have in the hat, in the middle letter. And from there we will have the spatial reference, the context again. So where we go from one end, H-A-T, to T-H-A-H again, so that we find out what we have as a reference point in hat. When we find that at the end, we will have the space in which we orient ourselves to make a physical object, which also makes a distinctive place or space or placement via the T. And there is the place of the hat. The whole is the full space in the spatial references, which we will make physical. We will make a physical association and find a physical confirmation, and then we will also let it evolve from let it evolve to the other end. So we will have actually a distinction that goes from the full space to the spatial reference within. So, and that makes the whole, as a matter of speaking. You can sense it if you like. The hair is actually pretty simple. We have the spatial reference with the A and I combination. The A is the physical object, the I is the insertion. The combination in the sound A is means that you have this kind of combination with a lot of variations and from us a lot of directions coming in as well. So the coming in at certain spaces. So this makes up the hairs, of course, and the hairs also fills up an orientation in a certain space of its own. It's very easy to realize in this way. Horse. With horse you can play a little bit because you have a structure, the H, in which you have a spatial orientation in which you can make a process going on. The R is connecting the processes, the S is the waves in between and combinations in between of variations of interconnections that you can have there. If you play with just these reference points within a couple of spaces, let's say you have here the horse here. If you have the horse and you play with this orientation in each region, in each space, the head, and other things you can and the body, you can easily find forms that fit with horse. Just play with it a little bit and you will find out. Hip, we will start with a placement first. So you have the H, I, P. And then after the placement we also have to make the reorientation again in the big H. The reorientation is that the P is not just in the small space but also have to get a reference to the large space via E, of course. And then we have the structure of hip. This is the spatial orientation of hip. If we compare this with the hip, it is more or less recognizable. I'm not talking about the reference points of what it means, why the E, why the H, why the P, what does the P does, and when does this happen. That's also another reference point and some other investigation. That's another layer that you can also discover. But here it was about how can you find the spatial references of H and how does it work as forms. And I just gave you a couple of examples how they work as forms, and that's a part of the theory of sound in form. And then you have, of course, here the hip is the reference point in space. Actually, the spatial interaction starts from there. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed. This was an extra demonstration from the theories that you can find, especially then in development of the word. If you want more ideas, more demonstration from what is in theory in the book, just watch the videos now and then and you can have more examples of this. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.